Surely you've heard of a 5-step plan before. You've probably also heard of a 12-step plan to deal with alcoholism or other drug-related treatments. But have you ever heard of a 39-step plan? No? Well, neither have I, because that sounds absolutely dreadful. Who would want to take that many steps just to try and deal with just about anything? So don't take the 39-step plan, take this shortcut. But wait, how does that pertain to this game? You'll find out shortly. Actually, it'll take quite a while, but you'll find out. Sense of your importance, huh? Here was I, a very ordinary fellow with no particular brains. You said it, not me. And yet I was convinced that somehow I was needed to help this business through. That without me, it would all go to blazes. I told myself it was sheer silly conceit that 4 or 5 of the cleverest people living, with all the might of the British Empire at their back, had the job in hand. Didn't stop the first guy from getting killed again, did it? Yet I couldn't be convinced. It seemed as if a voice kept speaking in my ear, telling me to be... Yeah, see, when somebody's driving by in a loud car, you just gotta wait a minute. Trying to talk over it. Telling me to be up and doing, or I would never sleep again. As in, you'll never live it down, or you're gonna be killed. That's a bit of a vague expression. The upshot was that about 9:30, I made up my mind to go to Queen Anne's Gate. Man, what an upshot. Very likely I would not be admitted, but it eased my conscience to try. On my way, I passed a group of young men. They were in evening dress. I swear, how rude. Even honked his horn. They were in evening dress, had been dining somewhere, and were going on to a music hall. How I envied them. One of them was Marmaduke Jopley.
By God, the murderer! Hey, you fellows hold him! That's Hannay, the man who did the Portland Place murder!
I wasn't looking for trouble, but my ill temper made me play the fool, and the sight of Marmy's imbecile face was more than I could bear. Really, dude? Oh, gosh!
This man is the Portland Place murderer!
Oh, damn it all! Make your fellows shut up! I advise you to leave me alone, Constable. Scotland Yard knows all about me, and you'll get a proper wigging if you interfere.
You've got to come on with me, young man. I saw you strike that gentleman Crullard. You began it too, for he wasn't doing nothing. I've seen you. You best go quietly, or I'll have to fix you up. What is it?
Oh, good job, Richard. I have a very fair turn of speed, and that night I had wings. In a jiffy, I was in Pall Mall, and had turned down towards St. James Park. Happily, there were a few people about, and no one tried to stop me, except for the cops. You know, they were trying to stop me. I was staking all on getting to Queen Anne's Gate. There, I could save the day.
I must see Sir Walter. My business is desperately important.
That butler was a great man. Without moving a muscle, he held the door open and then shut it behind him. He opened the door and closed it. What a great man!
Sir Walter is engaged, sir, and I have orders to admit no one. Perhaps you will wait.
See here. There's trouble about, and I'm in it. But Sir Walter knows, and I'm working for him. If anyone comes and asks if I'm here, tell him a lie.
No. Off with you. I was seated and told to wait. You know, like an impudent child, like, what are you doing, you moron? Ring, 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 ring. He returned to the door, and with a face like a graven image, waited to be questioned.
This is the house of Sir Walter Bullivant, and I am under the strictest orders not to let anyone, no matter who, interrupt his office.
And... oh, I click on something. Door. Letter. Or newspaper, whatever. Greek premier assassinated. Horror descended on Whitehall last night after Greek Prime Minister Konstantin Karolidis was shot dead in London. The murder took place around 7 p.m. in a private apartment in Horse Guards, where the Greek premier was staying at the invitation of the Foreign Office. Although the area around St. James Park was busy at the time, Scotland Yard has released no details of the suspect, and the assassin remains at large. Karolidis was alone at the time of the shooting, and no direct witnesses to the act have been established. Police and security agents have yet to confirm whether the shooter was located in the room or fired from an adjacent building. Questions are already being raised about the security arrangements for the visit. Sir Humphrey Bullingstone, the RH member for Harrow, declared that it is a disgrace to the fine name of Her Majesty's government that a serving head of state can be murdered in cold blood in such close proximity to the King's residence. Armed security at Buckingham Palace and Downing Street has been increased as a precaution. Karolidis' visit was thought to concern his recent call for a major international conference to settle the ongoing territorial claims that continue to beset the Balkans. The visit may also have included discussion about potential British assistance to secure Greek claims over various Ottoman islands and the Aegean, although War Minister Drew has repeatedly insisted that Her Majesty's government does not intend to send the Mediterranean fleet to intervene. Motivations for the assassination were unclear, and Karolidis is known to have had numerous enemies. Ottoman influences are a likely candidate, although relations between Karolidis and the Porte were relatively cordial compared with its predecessors. Berlin's efforts to form an alliance with Bulgaria and its long-standing relationship with the Ottomans have led to a tense relationship between Berlin and Athens. German Foreign Minister Schultz recently described Karolidis as a millstone around the necks of the Greeks. The German theory has supporters within Parliament. Sir Humphrey has already suggested that we will most likely find the hand of the Kaiser somewhere near the trigger of the gun. Sir Walter Bullivant, permanent secretary at the Foreign Office, reacted with shock and fury to the events of last night and told this newspaper that this is an appalling act of political murder within the very heart of our government, and we will leave no stone unturned to catch those responsible. Is it ever going to stop? Sir Walter also extolled the influence of Karolidis as a steady rock in the volatile world of Balkan politics. The tireless work of Konstantin Karolidis in search of peaceful solutions to the Eastern question has been without compare in recent years, explained Sir Walter. We must ensure to continue the spirit of his work. Okay. Privately, however, the Foreign Office is thought to be deeply concerned that, in the absence of Karolidis, the situation in the region will deteriorate yet further. The fate of the international conference that Karolidis had called for is also unknown, although in the absence of a respected strongman, it appears unlikely that such an affair will go ahead in the immediate future. That did not end. Oh, there is something there. Wait, what? I hadn't waited long until there came another ring at the bell. The butler made no bones about admitting this new visitor. I recognized the first sea lord, the man they say that made the new British Navy. He passed my alcove and was ushered into a room at the back of the hall. As the door opened, I could hear the sound of low voices. It shut, and I was left alone again. I collected Lord Allo. For 20 minutes I sat there, wondering what I was to do next. Get a grip? Then the door of the back room opened and the first Sea Lord came out. He walked past me, and in passing he glanced in my direction, and for a second we looked each other in the face. I had never seen the great man before, and he had never seen me. But in that fraction of time, something sprang into his eyes, and that something was recognition. You can't mistake it. It is a flicker, a spark of light, a minute shade of difference, which means one thing, and one thing only. He killed Scudder! Ring, 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 telephone, telephone. I collected... Oh wait, the glyphs! The glyphs of calling! Quickly, man! I must make the call!
Lord Allowa's residence. How may I help you?
Is his lordship at home?
His lordship returned half an hour ago and has gone to bed. He's not very well tonight. Will you leave him a message, sir?
I knew it.
Not a moment could be lost, so I marched boldly to the door of that back room and entered without knocking. Something's amiss. Something is amiss. But anyways, I'll find out what's amiss next time. But anyways, that's going to be it for all, and I'll see you later, folks. And as always, Fruit and Doggy.